Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the March reading for Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. This month I will be doing the Celtic Cross tarot spread for the reading. And the first card that came out in the position of what is currently happening right now is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is an indication that you might be feeling a little bored, a little dissatisfied, like with your life. There might not be a lot of excitement, a lot of things going on, or you feel like you're sinking into like this routine that is basically just, like you're bored, nothing is exciting. And now Geminis, Geminis can get bored very easily, right? There's this idea here that, you guys are ruled by the planet Mercury. And so that is like a fast moving planet, a lot of action, a lot of messages coming in and out. But what's also happens with that is that when the mind is not being stimulated, it is easy for Geminis to get bored. And so I kind of feel like right now, you might not have a lot of things going on. You might not have a lot of projects going on. You might be single, not really dating anyone. And so there's like an overall sense of like really being bored with your day-to-day, everyday life. This card, when I look at this card, I do kind of get the sense that you're kind of regretful about something, right? With this person in the card, you see she's looking in what I consider the past position. So she's focused on something that happened in the past. And so there's like a sense of, really kind of like focused on what has been lost, crying over spilled milk, and not really focusing on what is in front of her, which if you look at the bottom right hand side of the card is a cup being offered to her. So there is something being offered to her that she's not really focused on, that she's not paying attention to, because her focus and energy is on the cups that are empty or on something that has happened in the past and not what's being presented to her right now, or the potential for something to happen, for the potential for something to be coming to her in the future, because her focus is on how bored she is and what she doesn't have that she has lost. What is crossing her, or what is crossing Gemini this month, is the Eight of Pentacles. So for some of you, and this is not for all of you, there is like a sense that because you are focused on other things, you might not necessarily be focused on like the actual work that you are supposed to be doing. So some of you might be slacking on responsibilities that you should be focused on. And that's just for some of you. Others of you, I feel like you are bored with your job, right? So you might not be in terms of work, you might not be at the job that you want to be at. You might be bored with the job. It might just be like, the same old responsibilities all the time, and you want something new and you want something fresh, right? So it is this element of you actually putting in a little bit of energy into work, into doing the work that makes you feel satisfied, right? Really kind of stepping into a space where you're kind of fine tuning and developing your craft, or, something that you're interested in, possibly focusing on your hobbies, really kind of like stepping into like your own personal magic, whatever that is, the things that you want to create, the things that you want to do. I feel like that is a remedy or a recipe to help you with the boredom that you're feeling. There is a sense of, like I said, of work that needs to be done, that is crossing you right now, and could potentially help you kind of come out of the rut that you're in. The card that came out in the past position is the Three of Pentacles. And so earlier I said that the person in the Four of Cups card was kind of looking back at the Three of Pentacles. And so there is a sense here, for some of you, and this is not for all of you, that the focus and her energy of what she's looking back at is something that did not work. And that could be in the realm of a relationship or it could be in the realm of a job. So if it's a relationship, this relationship has an issue or had an issue with like a third party situation. A third party was involved in the equation. And so as a result, it didn't work out. Or the effect of that third party situation is something that you're still focused on currently, and you can't get past it, right? No matter what, it seems like it's kind of like stuck. And so there's an element of you're not sure if this is going to work because of like this situation in the past, right? For others of you, there is a sense that something didn't work out in terms of like employment. So if you were interested in working with someone else to help you kind of learn a skill or learn a trade or be a little bit more adept at your job, maybe you went to a job training or you were working with someone else in a collaborative type of way, and it didn't really work out. And so you are kind of feeling upset about that, or just really kind of like stewing about that in your head because, there is this sense that you really did want this to work because it was a type of opportunity that you wanted, but it didn't go the way that you wanted it to. And so there's like this overall energy of just kind of focusing on the things that have passed that, you feel like is affecting your ability to move forward in the future. And so that's kind of like playing out for you this month. In your conscious mind, the card that came out is the Nine of Swords. And so this is an indication of like some real mental gymnastics, right? So it is stress, a lot of overthinking. Your mind is kind of like going, and that is typical of Geminis. It's like your mind is really active right now, really thinking about, again, like I said, the past. She is faced in like a future position. So your anxiety is really about how this past situation is going to affect your future. I feel like you are a little hesitant about your future. You're really thinking about, where you're going, and how you're going to get there, and if it's going to work out, or things are going to work out the way that you want them to. There's like a real sense of being unable to sleep here, a lot of bad dreams, just a lot of anxiety because of things not working out the way that you think, or you're worried about the way that things are going to go. In the subconscious, we have the Nine of Cups. And so, okay, what this is really showing is that ultimately you really wished for this. Like if it's the relationship, if it's the job, this is like something that was a wish and a hope and a dream for you. And it did not work out the way that you thought it was going to work out, or it's not going the way you thought it was going to go. And now you're really kind of, you're really sad about it. You're really not in a happy space because of this loss. At the core of this, we are having this type of energy where it's like you are so focused on what has happened, what you've missed out on, what you've lost, that you don't realize that anything that's lost to you, anything that, has been removed from your life is sometimes removed for a reason, or anything that has happened in the past doesn't necessarily affect the future, right? Your focus is not on right now. Your focus is on the past. And so that is really focusing on something that you can't change is not going to help you move forward, right? It's not going to help you move to the next space in life. And so there's like a lot of energy of kind of like focusing on the past, focusing on the things that you lost. And as a result, like feeling like, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Protective of yourself, of your feelings, and really just putting yourself in like a space of just feeling like you just don't have what you need, you don't have what you want, and you're really focusing on what you lack instead of what you actually have and what you will actually have in front of you, or what is being offered to you, because you can't see beyond what's already happened or what you've lost, right? The clarification that came out is I'm using the Lenormand Oracle deck for clarifications, and the cards that came out is the Heart card, the Anchor card, and the Ring. And so for a lot of you, this is really about a relationship, right? So a relationship that you're in, it could be bound by love. It could be bound by marriage. This could be somebody that you're already married to, or someone that you want to be married to. Is basically something in that dynamic is not going the way that you wanted it to go, right? But there is love there. With the heart card, there is love and there is compassion there. But the issue right here for you now is the level of stability that this relationship has, because you're trying to be secure in this and you're trying to hold on to the relationship with the anchor card here. But again, something is not going the way that you thought it was. And before the Three of Pentacles came out, so it could have been a third party situation. But in general, it ain't going the way you thought it was going to go, right? Whatever that is. Some of you might be, in a relationship with someone that you care about, the love is there. But they might not necessarily be who you want them to be. They might not be, asking you to marry them like you want them to, there is like a sense that you want a level of commitment or a level of security in the relationship that you aren't getting. And you do want to hold on to this because the love is there. What we need to realize is that when you're dealing with other people, everything is about a give and take, right? And just like we aren't perfect, our partners aren't perfect either. It is really up to you to decide whether or not the relationship itself is worth it to you in order to work on it, in order to kind of like work through issues that might have happened or work through things that, come up. But, fretting about it and losing sleep over it is not going to help improve it. Focusing on what happened in the past is not going to improve it. There has to be a level of devotion to kind of working on something, working on the commitment. Again, like I said, the Eight of Pentacles is working on it. There is like a sense really that you have to also remember that a relationship, whatever that relationship is, no matter how important it is to you, there's nothing more important than the relationship that you have with yourself. And so for some of you, you might want to take this as an admonition to work on your self-love and to work on yourself in ways to make yourself better, and to really work, with dealing with, whatever issues that you have personally that could have contributed to whatever's going on, but also to understand that no one is perfect and that you aren't perfect, your partner isn't perfect, the relationship isn't perfect, but sometimes it can be fixed and it can be worked on. And so that is something to think about. What is happening in the near future is being represented here by the Knight of Wands. And so when we see the Knight of Wands, this is a sense of like a delay happening, right? It's kind of like a slowdown of something. It also indicates like a little bit of frustration. Again, like I was saying before, some of you need to work on working on yourself could entail also kind of like focusing on like a passion project that you might have. But really there's like a sense that you need to kind of focus your energy on the inside, stepping into a meditative practice, really trying to gather your energy back, because your energy is like really scattered. Your focus is really scattered. And again, this card, if you look at it in the reverse, is looking backwards. There's a lot of backwards energy here with the Eight of Pentacles is looking back. The Four of Cups is looking back. The Knight of Wands is looking back. The Nine of Cups is looking back. Everyone is looking back. Everyone is focusing on all these cards are focusing on the past, instead of focusing on what is in front of you today, what you can be working on today. Your delays and all of that is happening because you're so concerned and so consumed about what's happened in the past. There has to be some energy put into what's happening right now to focus on the future, but starting today, focusing on what you can do today, right? Let's pull some clarifiers for the Knight of Wands. The clarification cards that came out for the Knight of Wands in the reverse is, again, the Anchor card, the Fox card, the Cross, the Woman, and the Birds. So there seems to be a lot of gossip going on, right? The birds is an indication of gossip, but it's also an indication of like scattered thoughts, your mental, right? Your mental. The birds actually came out before in the Nine of Swords card. If you saw, she had like all the birds over her head. So it's really like your overactive mind and your overactive thoughts, right? If you have feminine energy, and this reading is about you, you are not a stupid woman. You are a smart woman. And so there is a sense of you really kind of like, in your brain, in your mind, thinking about ways of creating stability for yourself. But also there's an aspect of suffering that's attached here. Like you feel like if you feel like you're in a state of suffering, you really know what you need to do. At the end of the day, regardless of what, if you have to make a decision, you have to make a decision for your best and highest good. But you cannot allow other people outside of your situation to make that decision for you. This is a decision that you have to make for yourself. People are going to talk. They're always going to talk. People are always going to have something to say. But at the end of the day, you know better than anyone else who your partner is and who it is that you're trying to build a life with, or who it is that you want to build a life with. Is it that person that you're looking at? There's like a real sense here of what is right and what is wrong and what path to take. And you're really stressing about that point, about which direction to go in. Due to gossip, due to outside factors, when the only factor and the only position that matters is the position that you choose to take. I always say this, and I feel like I need to say this again. No one can talk you out of your relationship. No one should be able to have an influence on your relationship. If you're going to leave your partner, you're going to break up with the person that you're with, you do it because either one of you don't want to do this anymore, or it's not working. Not because of somebody else, not because of somebody on the outside. Sorry. That's just what I'm getting off of this. If you are not the feminine, you are the masculine person in the situation. You have an outside person in this equation that is really focused on, being in something with you, but they are kind of suffering because of the situation, but they're not stupid, right? And if you think that they are, they're really, really not. This relationship means something to them, and that is why they're going through what they're going through, but there has to be some level of communication, and there also has to be some decision making in terms of what it is that's going to happen and where the situation is going to go, because there's no point in sitting in something when no one's really saying what needs to be said, but they're secretly, in their own head about, what's going on. So take what you want from that. Take what applies to your situation and move forward with that. Okay. In the position of the current action that you're taking is the Three of Cups, right? And so you're really kind of going at it alone right now, right? The Three of Cups is an indication that you're kind of like stepping away from the crowd, that you're really in your head about a lot of things that's going on, and really kind of taking some time to be by yourself. This could also indicate that you are doing some hardcore like partying, right? To kind of avoid what it is that's going on in your life. Not, like I said, again, trying to kind of like not focus on the things that have happened in the past, instead of, you're kind of like imbibing a little bit, drink it to forget, right? So that's the current action that you're taking. There is a little bit of, I don't know, this sounds weird. There is a little bit of like a devil energy here. So some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn. There's also some fire energy here. But there are some of you, and this is not all of you, that are involved in a third party situation right now to kind of like not focus on what's going on. So there is that element here. I want to pull some clarifying cards for that. Okay, so the clarification cards that came out for the Three of Cups is the Scythe and also the Whip. So, okay. So there's a couple of things going on here. Again, this reading is for Geminis, so this could be for different people. So you want to just take what is about you and kind of leave the rest. The scythe and the whip together is an indication, again, of suffering, right? There is a sense of suffering. This is due to like arguments or fights. This could be due to conflicts, right? So you want to be mindful right now of being in a situation where there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of arguing, just a confrontational situation that's going to end in something, or just coming to, or it's going to cause your relationship to suddenly come to an end, or it's going to cause something to come to an end suddenly due to the back and forth and the arguing and the fighting, right? This is also an ending of abuse. And so for some of you, if you're in an abusive relationship right now, and this is the reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling, this is something that's going to come to an end. So you could be ending the relationship and moving forward, or you could really just be focused on getting out of that situation. So like I said, take what it is that you need from that and move on from there. But there is a sense of like heated arguments and heated debates, being insulted or attacking each other. It could be a verbal confrontation, or it could be a physical confrontation. Particularly like this the whip also talks about like really like kind of like destructive behaviors, and like I said before, the 3 of Cups in reverse is also talking about like a lot of partying, a lot of like, it feels like a downward spiral type situation, and it's being fueled due to it's being motivated because you're hurt, right? And so that is like your defense mechanism to kind of like handle the situation, because you are suffering. It feels like you're doing this due to that. And that has to come to a stop, right? That has to come to an end. It's like you're punishing yourself, and you shouldn't do that, right? This could potentially lead into like a cycle of, like self-hatred. And really, like, this reading is really calling for you to kind of step into the space where you understand that you're not perfect. You understand that your partner is not perfect and other people around you are not perfect. But the best place to start in terms of like healing the pain that you feel and healing your heartache is not to focus on anything outside of yourself, but to really focus on healing what's going on an internal level, and not to internalize anything moving forward, really, but to deal with the feelings of shame or the feelings of guilt that you might have regarding a particular situation. Ultimately, the scythe is about endings, quick and sudden endings. This could also mean, like I said, this could also mean it's a warning to slow down. It's a warning against accidents, potential accidents. Whatever it is, it's something that happens very quickly, very swiftly, out of the blue, and it's a sudden ending to something. But it's also, like I said, it's also an admonition to be careful when you're out driving. Don't drink and drive. Don't make any hasty decisions. Really kind of slow down on speeding. Yeah, so keep those things in mind, okay? Subconscious and outside factors that are attributing to this situation is being represented here by the 2 of Pentacles. And so I do really feel like somewhere along this in this mix of things is the issue with finances and with money, with feeling like you're juggling your finances. You don't have enough resources. You are in the search of security, but that kind of feels elusive to you. And so your money problems are also having like a subconscious influence on this whole thing. And so that is something to be mindful of. The card that came out in the position of your hopes and your fears and your dreams is the Ace of Wands. And so really, you do want to have a passionate type of start in your life. Again, this could be a relationship, but this could also be like really doing a job. If this is about work, this is really about doing a job that you feel passionate about, that feeds your soul, that, that you enjoy doing, and that really kind of like stimulates you on like a mental level, but also pays you, right? Pays you what you're worth. And so for some of you, you might be kind of contemplating, leaving the job that you're at and really kind of starting your own business. And so for some of you, that could come to an end for you. Like it could be, like I said, with the swift endings, it could be that comes to an end, whether you decide to leave the job on your own or whether, you get laid off. It's going to give you the opportunity to kind of like start your own thing, working from home, and really, like I said, cultivating a sense of like working on like your own, working on your own magic, right? Whatever that might mean to you. The final outcome for this reading is being represented here by the Two of Cups. And so this is really an indication that, a relationship that you have is really coming into a space, a beautiful space of understanding, of equal give and take. And you are with a person that you feel open enough with to share your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, someone that is supportive of you, someone that does not stress you out. If you are in an abusive relationship, someone that is not abusive, like at the end of the day, like I said, regardless of what, every decision that you have to make is a decision that you have to make on your own about your own life and where you want to go. But it requires you to listen to your inner voice. It requires you to step away from the crowd and other people's opinions about what you should do and do what is for your greatest and highest good. And eventually at the end, the outcome here is being represented by the Two of Cups, which, it is a beautiful outcome, right? That real equal give and take, that real balance, that real security, potentially, a marriage and security, which is obviously something that you want, that you feel like, you're not really getting at this current time. And so the outcomes are beautiful. But again, I want to say, be careful out here in these streets. Don't be speeding. Don't run off and go do some shit that you're going to regret later on because you're in your feelings, because you heard something that you didn't like. That's not going to help you, right? You want to take the time to kind of like fall back and really like focusing on your internal and really kind of setting up like a navigation for you about where it is that you want to go, how you want to start cultivating that idea that comes into your brain as a potential business venture for you moving forward, right? So that is the end of the reading. I'm going to pull an advice card and then we're going to close this all out. The card that came out from the advice card is coming from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck, and it is the High Priestess. Harness mystic power. The message here is to align with the light and focus on all things positive. The High Priestess is the physical embodiment of the divine feminine, the goddess in human form. She has had many names through time and space, but her essence has remained similar: fierce, powerful, and disciplined. In many traditions, particularly pre-Christian, the High Priestess was in charge of spiritual and religious orders and was the voice of authority and guidance from the gods. The High Priestess in this deck is the consort and partner of the High Priest. If you look at them together, you will see that they mirror each other's energy. She is joined by a black cat representing the Egyptian goddess Bast, who protects her from lower energies, and she stands strong in her glory and power. You are a mystic with the capacity to connect with energies that go beyond the human senses. Within you is a force of magic that is directed by your will. There's an opportunity for you to rise up at this time, and it requires dedication and discipline. You are being guided to look at what you are working on or at the situation before you and determine where your priorities lie. If you are unable to figure that out, you must use your intuition and discernment to focus on what will bring you closer to your goal and the happiness of everyone involved. When this card arrives, it is important for you to check in with your intuition, as it will give you the guidance that will be important for your growth. And boom, there we have it. That is exactly what all of this basically boils down to: tapping into your own personal magic and really kind of allowing your intuition to guide you to make the decisions that you need to make for your future instead of focusing on your past. And we are done. Amen. That was great. That was beautiful. I love that. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and I hope that this has really helped you in some way. Please share your comments down below and let me know, or share it with a friend who you feel like can benefit from this reading. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for post notifications, and just like that, we are done, and I will see you soon.